all the time, right?
It, it's 82 degrees pretty much all year long.
Which island are you on?
I was on the North Shore of
Okay.
Oahu. Yep.
Mhm.
Very, very beautiful area.
I visited Maui and Big Island
Hmm.
twice.
Yeah, the Big Island's
Loved
very
it.
different. But
Absolutely loved it.
it is wonderful. Mhm. And what kind of work are you into?
My background is in traditional Chinese medicine, medical qigong, and Chinese inner alchemy. So primarily, I'm teaching and
Mhm.
consulting, um, and planning to launch training to teach the inner alchemy practices that I've utilized over the past 4.5 decades.
Wow. And have you done an event yet?
Excuse me?
Have you done an event yet?
I have not. I have not. That's well. I mean, I've certainly done events, in-person events with my own work, and I do now primarily work entirely on Zoom. Hi,
Hey,
Dino.
Dino.
Hey, how's it going, dude?
Been a
Hey,
long time since I've
Becky.
seen you, my friend.
It's fun seeing you here.
I know, isn't it? Like Dino and I met like 13 years ago. I was on your
Yeah.
radio show. It's
Time to
crazy.
change your backdrop, Becky. Seriously,
I know,
I know
I
you're
know.
missing it, but
I can't let go of it.
good to see you.
And good to see you too. Good to talk to you, David.
When you're in
Hello, welcome,
Technicolor
welcome everyone.
paradise like
Oh,
that,
sorry to interrupt your
okay.
conversation with the reason that we're actually here. I'm glad that you got to have a little chat before we started. Um, it's good to have everyone here. We've got a few people that are joining in now, which is great. This is an opportunity to ask questions about Obvio, specifically about how to use Obvio, how to perhaps you're wrestling with a particular function or a thing that you want to do. There's also an opportunity to ask questions and compare notes on digital events and how we're doing those. And inevitably, we'll talk about production questions as well. So you can ask questions through the dashboard button that says Ask a Question. That's where we try to work through those questions first. It's the most efficient way, and then we can use the chat to make questions or comments that are related to what we're talking about. Otherwise, we'll get lost. We'll get lost in the chat with the good questions may get lost, and we don't want to do that. And it also we tend to sort of work on the questions that are related to each other at the same sort of time, and we can sort those because we use the moderation tool that we have now in the forms. So perhaps I can look at that at some point if people are interested. If you missed it before when we went through that, so that's that. And hey, Heather, nice to see you.
Hello.
Hello. Have we got any questions there yet?
Yeah, we have a few in. So the
Cool.
first one was from Jeff. Can you duplicate a dashboard?
Yes, after I sneeze. It's one of those. It's one of those sneaky sneezes. All right, we'll see if that comes later. That's a teaser for you. Is that there could be a sneeze coming? Yes, you can duplicate a dashboard. So the way that works is that you're duplicating an event, and you have options. What I'll do is show you where that is. So when you're looking at your organization, you'll see a list of events. And you'll see the tiles there. So let me get my sharing going and I can show you that. And then we'll look at the options of what you can do when you're duplicating. clean this up a little bit. All right. Here we go. Okay. So what we have here is an organization. We can see the events within it. The event that we're all in at the moment is this one. If I went to hit the little ellipsis here, the 3 dots, then I can hit duplicate, and that's going to ask me for the new name, sort of the basic setup, the new name, the URL that you want it to be, the start and end times. And then you're going to have duplicate your Zoom areas. And it'll also say, do you then want to duplicate your rooms and create all the Zoom meetings within those areas? And then if you have communications turned on, you have the ability to send out emails and SMSs, then you have the option to duplicate broadcasts. And so once you do that, that will create a whole copy without any of the attendees, right? So everything else is copying. So when you're asking, can you duplicate the dashboard? Well, yeah, that whole dashboard is what is copied. And then your attendees, and if you needed to get the same attendees in, you could do that, exporting from the old one and importing back those attendees. So that's essentially how duplicating works. I think that answers the question.
The next one's from Sarah. Is it possible for a form to have variables? Like if I wanted a pop-up that said first name and last name, phone number, email, but for each person.
For a form. Okay. Who was that asked that? Sorry.
Sarah.
Yeah.
Sarah. Okay. Hey, Sarah. Where are you thinking of wanting
Well,
that form to pop up? Yep.
so I wanted to make a form
Mm-hmm.
that it would be like a one answer form where I could ask them like, is this your current email and phone, or do we need to update it? And I was wondering if I could have like with the question or the helper text, could I have variables so that it could be like, is this your current email? Then have their email.
Right. Uh, my initial reaction is no. Help it. Yeah. Let's have a little look.
I mean, I was thinking maybe I could just like paste variables in, but I wasn't sure if that would work.
Yeah. See, if it's in line, if the form is in line in a post, in a blog post, then the text before the form can totally have the variables in it, and could say it could have all the data that you've already got, and you could have those kind of merge fields, or there's all sorts of
Yeah,
different names for the same
interesting.
thing. So
I didn't
you
think of
could
that.
do that. Yeah. That would definitely work. I mean, you've got me thinking now. I've not thought of it like that. Let me just see if I can share what I'm doing here as just a test. I've not tried it in this area. I don't think this will work. But I'm going to try it. If we were to put it square. I have a feeling this won't work, but I can't remember if we've got this form turned on here. There we go. So This is the type of thing you think we should know the answer, but we've never been asked this before. Um, I'm not sure that updated.
Yes, it won't. I mean, I did like your idea of just like kind of like
Yeah, putting
connecting
it
a
before it.
blog post or something with it. So I think I'll do that, or just not
Yeah.
do it at all.
I need to play around with that a little bit more because it's possible that was going to work. I will I'll see about that. I'm going to make a note because that is an interesting use case. It's one of those things that if it works, then that kind of opens up a few new opportunities. If it doesn't work, it's probably not something that we're going to build in anytime soon, right? It's one of those things. But at least you have a bit of a workaround there. You could put it in line and have text above that says, this is what we have as your email and phone. Is that correct? And so I guess with the email thing, one thing I think about is like, of course, that's not updating their email, right? And so if they're thinking that, okay, great, I've now told them and that will update the email, and so now my broadcast will come to a different email. Well, that wouldn't, right? That would be a manual process of you taking the form response and updating that email, but it's totally doable. So anyway, I hope that helps, but I am making a note. Cool. Next question, Heather.
Yes. So Becky said that she's running a 3-day challenge, Chaos to Order, and then a full 3-day event, Rise. And then she's going to have a high ticket offer, 90 days. And she's designing the landing pages and the Obvio event pages. Once they register on her landing page, does she need to manually add them to the Obvio event page, or is there an integration from High Level that will add them to Obvio?
Yes, there is. So there is an integration from High Level that is a direct integration from High Level to Obvio. And when a new registration comes through, that will send it through to Obvio, and Obvio will pass back the login URL back to the registrant's details, and that will be an extra field, like a merge field. You can then act on that and send out emails from High Level with the login details for Obvio. So yeah, that integration exists, and that's really the basis of all of our integrations that we have, 8 or so, that you can use. Is the idea that someone from a CRM would sign up. That data gets sent, essentially just first name, last name, email is the minimum that's required. It goes through to Obvio. Obvio generates that as an attendee and creates the login URL and sends that login URL back to the CRM to be able to be stored in there. And now you can use that in the CRM to be able to send out that login, and all of your emails that you send out for your event, you can track that way. Now, of course, there are tags and things as well that you can bring over, and then you can act on those in Obvio, and you could show different things on the dashboard based on the different tags that people have. And so there's all sorts of complexities that you can do with that. But is that making sense? Once again, I missed. I listened to the name, and then I listened to the question, and then I lose the name in my mind.
Sorry, it was me that asked that question.
Oh, hey Becky. Hey.
I mean, the main
Yep.
thing, the main thing is that if there's an integration, then if they push, so I have my landing page for the 3-day event set up. If they put their name and number in there and push enter, I get that I could create a workflow or workflow in go high level.
Mhm.
But how does it immediately, I have to actually set up that for Avio to send out the link, or do I wait till closer to I mean, obviously I've got emails closer to the event, but
Sure.
would I redirect them straight to Avio at that point, or do I?
Yeah, so great questions. So the thing about the process, let me ask you first, are these paid? People are paying for a ticket to get in, or is this a free
No, this is
event?
the free one, and then I'm gonna go to the
Okay.
3-day event eventually, but this is just starting with the free one.
Great. So one of the things to think about is whether you need them to go to register on high level, or whether you can have them register and enter directly with Obvio. So particularly when you're running a free event, you can use the sign up feature in Obvio, which is all it's asking is for the first name, last name, and email. Let me show you that.
But I've got a landing page set up. So would I embed that into the landing page?
So you could have a link. You could have a link, and this, you might decide that this is not the direction
Okay.
you want to go. I just want to give you the
Sure.
options, just to say that this is a possibility. And the reason I say this too is that it takes people straight into the dashboard, the Obvio dashboard, doing it this way. They don't have to wait for an email. So let me get the right one here.
And Grant, I think Lucho also is pretty familiar with Go High Level if you need his input on it as well.
Okay.
Great. Excellent. So we'll talk about an Obvio side first, and then we can go high level. Then we can go high level.
Go high level.
So let's see. Looking at. Thank you.
Looks like
There we go.
Lucho's saying he can share his screen.
Oh, it's all happening. Let's just see. I'll just show you this step first, and then you'll know whether that's something you're interested in. So this is the event that we're on. When we go to the design section and we go to sign up, this is an option that when enabled, the link becomes /sign up
So instead of them signing up on the landing page, it would take them straight to this. They'd sign up there. And somehow that information goes back to Go High Level so that they are tagged that they've signed up.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, it depends on what you're wanting to do with the data. But if you're just wanting to get people into Obvio and then worry about communications with them afterwards, then this is where there's a little bit of double up. So let me just take a step back for a moment and just say, when we started, we didn't have some of these features that are kind of in CRMs. We started and built in integrations with Keep was the first one that we built in to and Zapier, to make sure that we could get people who had registration data and complex sign up forms and registration forms, and be able to get them into Obvio, get the Obvio link back to them, and then they can do all of the emailing from CRM, because we didn't have any sort of broadcast.
Right. But you can do that now in Obvio.
Correct. And so, but the thing is that while it sounds like that just is competing, we still see that there is a difference. And the difference is that we will not have highly complex ways of doing. I say this, and then I think that there are further features that we've added, but broadcast particularly, everything that we're doing within Obvio is event based, very, very specific event based.
Right.
We will not be trying to build out
a campaign.
Yeah, but I catch myself every time we say we will not. But at least at this stage, I can't see us trying to compete with CRMs where you're building a community and you're doing multiple events out of that list.
Mm-hmm.
We're not a list management service. We are
Mm-hmm.
event based. And
Mm-hmm.
so to that point, if what we're wanting to do is just have a free event, have people sign up, really frictionless process of just getting in, getting to the dashboard and getting into Zoom, then we do that in Obvio. And if it's a multi-day, I think you said it was a 3-day event, and you want to send out reminders, you can do that in Obvio, right? Like it just goes straight
Okay, so
out.
once they're in the
Happen.
system and the event's coming, then would you suggest doing that all through Obvio instead of through the CRM?
Well, I would, but where the difference is with a CRM is where if you had a structure in your CRM where your list had multiple levels and different membership styles, and you have lots of tagging and you treat people differently or communicate with them differently based on that data, then obviously you want to keep all that in there. And you want to do all of your communication out of the CRM, and you want to be able to track. And so you can look up someone's profile and see, oh yeah, we sent them this and they attended this event and then they went to this one. And, you can sort of see all this history. None of that exists in Obvio, right?
Okay.
So that's where that's different. But if it's a 3-day free event, I just want to just work in one environment, make it really easy, run the event, and then grab all of that, export that data out of Obvio and bring it back into a CRM, you could totally do that.
Okay.
So we've spent a lot of time building out these integrations. Certainly not so that we're then just saying, no, just use Obvio. We've got the integrations for very good reason. And there's a lot of people that are using them to great effect.
Okay.
I'm just making sure as you're starting out. Sorry, I keep talking over you. Once you're starting out, it's just working out what is the best thing to use for now, and then build on that.
Okay, so just a quick follow-up. So if it is a paid, because if I go to my full 3 days where it's the 97, 3-day event, then would it be the same practices, or would you recommend? I mean, because the payment's going to go through the CRM, right? Not the Obvio.
Yeah, at the moment. So you would hear this phrase we keep talking about, marketplace. Marketplace is our sign up selling tickets feature in Obvio that has had a hard life. And it's still trying to come. It's still trying to be rebirthed. So we had a version of it, and now we've built a new version that's way better, and we're just a couple of hurdles to get that over the line. Once that happens, then yes, you can totally build out your selling pages in Obvio and sell your tickets, and the whole registration process can happen all within Obvio.
And that can still, all that data can go back into the CRM.
Yes, it can.
Okay.
So it's a question that I can't answer for you as to where you want you want that process to be. And if you want it to be a similar process for your free events, with hello, gorgeous. People can't see you, can they? No, they just see a little head.
Cute.
So they will see. If you want it to be a similar experience, whether it's a free event or a paid event, and you have your sign up pages, all in high level, and there's a whole bunch of extra features in there that we will not have, then that's great. You just got to think about what's the workflow for someone that signs up, and then what emails do they get, and where does that come from? And so some people are creating it through an integration, and the registration comes through, it goes to Obvio, and then they're sending a welcome email from Obvio. And that welcome email just triggers automatically when an attendee is created in Obvio, where in any way that's created, manually entered, imported through a CSV, using an integration, any of those. When you turn on the welcome email from Obvio, that will get triggered when that happens. Or you wait until it comes back to high level and you send the emails out from there. So
is there an article somewhere about that integration?
That would be great. There's
like,
not.
How do we learn about the integration?
Yeah, there is Heather.
Other than Lucho, I'll reach out to you.
Yeah.
Actually, if you want me to share my screen, it only takes 5 seconds, and I'll show you how you do it.
Yeah, you can show quickly. Thank you.
Thank you.
You wore the shirt intentionally.
I just picked it by chance. It wasn't so you get the shirt. So it says that I can't share it. Oh, it's been
stand by.
Oh, there we go. Now it's doing it.
Oh.
Okay, so basically, this is what's called a trigger, and that trigger could be a payment received. If you're doing a free event, that trigger could be an order form or just a regular form that they opted in. That trigger could be a tag. You could create anything to be the trigger. Once you trigger that, what you do is you attach that Obvio gives you for that specific event.
Okay.
Then the important thing is you set a wait, but you have to wait for a condition. Okay, so you wait for the condition. The condition is that the Obvio, whatever tag is called, is not empty. Okay, because what's going to happen is when you place this tag on the contact, it takes about 2 minutes to contact Obvio, and then Obvio sends via API their magic link. So the magic link goes in this custom value that we call it the same thing as the tag to make it easy on us. So you have a wait until that is not empty. Then once that is not empty, then it goes in. Here we added to a spreadsheet so that our salespeople can call them. But then we add a tag, and then we copy the contact to another, whatever. But here's the congrats, which means congrats. A text message, then an email, and so on. So the trick is to create first, apply the tag that Obvio gives you,
and then wait.
The wait, and when you do the wait, if you just type in wait, then here you have to select, instead of time delay, you want to create an appointment, event, or here a condition. So when you click on condition, then you get to select what the condition is. And in the contact details, the condition that we selected, of course, is the Obvio tag.
Okay.
So S2S Obvio. And then here it says, okay, what are we waiting for? Well, we're waiting for this to either be something specific, which we don't know, or that it's not empty, or that it is empty. So you, of course, wait till it's not empty. That means that once that Obvio sends us the magic link, the system knows it's not empty, so then it moves forward.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay, great.
Nice and simple.
Nice and simple. We'll get in there and get it done.
It's a really simple 17-step process.
Yes.
It's actually 3 steps, but hey.
So
once you get it, you get it. All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Lucho.
Thank you. And so now you can remember that we are streaming this to YouTube for the reason that you can go back and watch it really easily. So so you can go back and watch it and watch that little demo. Thank you both. All right, next question.
Sarah says, I have 2 countdown clocks on my dashboard and I want one of them to be on the bottom, but it will not stay there. Is there any way to pin it?
I don't think there's an order necessarily to countdowns. It probably, yep.
I'm like grabbing the 3 lines and then I'm like dragging it, but every time I drag it down, it just zooms back up and it won't stay.
Yeah, there you go. What's the event called?
Biblical Counseling Academy or BCA in the BCA office hours one.
Okay. Yeah. Let me have a quick look.
I want the red one to be on bottom.
Okay. Well, the first thing is that you know what you want, and that's a good start. Okay, that doesn't look all right. Let me see, I might have clicked the wrong one. Yeah, BCA office hours. Let me see.
Hey, Grant.
Yes.
I just did some testing here and it looks like it snaps back, but when I refresh the screen, it actually did change the order. So, I did a little test here as well.
Yeah, great. Thank you, Muddy. Yeah, I wondered if that is a little bug that it's not updating. It's not updating in the real-time view, but it is saving the new. So I can fix that. But that BCA office hours doesn't have any countdowns on it. Sarah, was it?
Are you sure you're the right one? Because I have two.
Okay. So BCA.
Do you want to try sharing your screen?
Yeah, can you help me, Sarah? Can you please? I really need some help here. So VCA office hours. Oh, all right. Now it's proved me wrong. All right.
But I mean,
okay. So you wanted the red one on the bottom. Is that what you said?
Yeah.
Let's just see. Oh, Muddy.
No, upon further testing, I can't get it back down. It switched orders once, but it won't. The other thing that occurred to me is the first one shows at the top, the second one shows below, so you can always remove it and re-add it.
Exactly. Yeah. I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah, I'll try that.
In the meantime, yeah, you could actually just reformat these too, right? So, but it is a little bug.
Could it have anything to do with the amount of time?
That's what I was kind of thinking.
Yeah, I wondered that too, except that it shouldn't do that.
Can you try moving the bottom one up instead of the top one down?
Look at the workshopping going on. Not when it was deleted. Okay. So yeah. So if it was based on time, then it shouldn't have the handle to move it. If the handles are there, then the handle should do what it you would expect it to do. And so I think the handles are already there. We should have them do what it is intended to do.
Well, I'm gonna see if it's like just this dashboard or a different one.
All right. Well, you have a little play, and we'll look at some other questions, but we'll log that as a bug and get it fixed. So thank you for raising it. All right. Next question.
So our next one's from Lucho. He says, we're having a team member help us during our event. How does he log in or access 3 different Zoom rooms at the same time? Registration, tech check, help desk, and the coaching lobby Zoom rooms.
So actively in those 3 Zoom meetings at the same time. That's what you're saying, Lucho? Yeah.
Right. One support member. So if once he checks people in, if they're late and they're coming to a tech check, but he's in the coaching room, how does he see that somebody's there so that they don't just sit there going like, you know.
So the easiest and unfortunate option is 3 computers. So you can totally do it that way. And there it does sound a little cumbersome to have, you know, three different devices that you're running, but it can actually work really well in that you can have screens. I mean, I've got a room full of screens, and the reason that I do that is I like having single use monitors. You know, it's like I have a monitor that is doing one task, and I can look straight there. And in the moment, I'm not switching between lots of layers on one computer, or trying to make it all fit on a screen. I'm able to go, okay, here, and this is the keyboard and mouse for it, and bang, I'm in, and I'm typing, or I'm unmuting, or I'm whatever. And so I'm not just trying to justify that as the best option, but it is a particularly good option, and it scales as well, right? So that you have more and more that you need to do, or you have a team that needs to do it. You start saying, this is best practice. Best practice is having dedicated machines that do one task. The machine will work better. And it's easier for us to go and stand or, you know, sit in front of one thing. What I will say is that there is just a little thing. I mean, I'm just mentioning it's probably not very practical, but if you had a Zoom account, as in you have your own Zoom account, then there is a support option that can turn on allowing multiple Zoom meetings to be launched on the one computer.
Oh.
And that will work with Obvio meetings as well. But obviously that means that you need to have your own Zoom totally separate from Obvio, your own Zoom account, and have the feature turned on to allow multiple meetings to be logged in at once. When that happens, all of the users across your account have that ability, and now you can just keep launching Zoom meetings, and it adds multiple meetings on the one computer. So
what is the reassign on offline toggle?
So this is a totally separate thing. What we're talking about here is specifically there's areas, Zoom areas is always a collection of one or more Zoom meetings or rooms, right? And this is where, think about this in terms of a large event. So say we've got an event with 10 meetings. We were expecting up to 10,000 people to come to this meeting, to this event. On day one, when they hit that button, we had all 10 rooms open, allowing people to go in. As they came in through the doors, it started load balancing across those rooms and filled it up. And what ended up happening is that we had 200 people in each room. And so we ended up with 2,000 people instead of what we thought might have been 10,000 people. So day two, we rethink this and we think we don't need 10 rooms to be open. Let's put that down to 5 rooms. Now, what would happen is that when someone joins a meeting and it assigns them to a room automatically, it keeps that assignment. So that, and we have this on lots of events where people get this tribal affinity to the room number that they're in. And it's like, yes, room 3, you know, and people make Facebook groups for room 3. And so if the next day they come back, we want to make sure that they go back into room 3 because they've gotten tattoos now that they are room 3. And so they want to make sure that they're in. However, if out of that, keeping this story going, if out of those 10 rooms we were closing 5 and room 3 was one of the ones we closed, it'll say that it's offline because we've assigned that person to room 3. Room 3 is not available yet. It's not open. And so they'll keep getting an offline message because room 3 is not online. So we can hit that toggle to say reassign on offline. When that meeting goes offline, reassign, so the next day they come in, it's going to reallocate everyone based on the rooms that are open. Now it only has 5 rooms that are open, and so now it's going to load balance across all 5 and push them all in.
And that happens.
And so, yep.
Okay, so if we close the registration and tech check, and we click on reassign on offline, they come in on day 2 to register because they're late. Will they get sent to a coaching room or to another room, or nothing?
No. So tech check operates a little differently. So it still sort of works. So let's have another story. That Jim comes to tech check one day, and is having a whole bunch of trouble with his Zoom and just can't get it to work. And so you're able to communicate with him and say, look, you need to restart your computer and whatever, right? Well, ideally, you want Jim to be able to come back to that same tech check room. If you had multiple tech check rooms going, you want him to come back to that same person, so that have continuity of service. So in that instance, he logs out, restarts, comes back in. It even though it would normally load balance across all the tech check rooms, he's already been assigned to room 3, and so he goes straight to room 3 regardless of what the numbers are, because he's already assigned there. Now, if there was that same thing with tech check, we would want to say reassign on offline, so that, but sorry, let me just complete that story. So Jim restarts his computer, comes back into room 3, sees the same person, everything's now working great, and we check him in. He checks in, that tech check process is now complete. He's checked in, he now goes to the dashboard, and never to go back to tech check again, regardless of whether you did reassign on offline. All of that doesn't matter, because he's completed the tech check process. And so reassign on offline is not really used for tech check, because it's just that one process. Once they're checked in, they never go back there.
But in the case they have one person, right? And it's day 2, everybody's checked in, but maybe 1 or 2 stragglers. Are we be able to reassign that tech check room to the coaching room, so that they go there, they end up in the coaching where the coach is waiting, or no?
Those are good questions. It is possible. So there's a couple of things there. One is that you can turn off the tech check process, right? And this can be highly effective, because tech check can be used pre-event, even the day before, and you might get half your people come through there at that time. You have great interaction with them, and it was a really good experience for them. The people that come 5 minutes into the show starting, you may just want to get them into the room as quick as possible. You might want to have someone talk to them, or you might just say, let's just turn off tech check. They'll go straight to dashboard. They'll hit the main stage button and they're in, right? Okay. And that is an effective process, because it for the half the people that came the day before, they had a great experience. The people that were never coming on that day anyway, they didn't know that they missed out on that great experience, and they just go straight in, right?
And how do you turn off if you need to?
Yep. So just in the check-in tab on the left, I can show you quickly here. Check-in. Yeah. So in the check-in group, and then tech check, and right there, enable or disable. So
by disabling it, then
it will ignore whether they're checked in or not,
and they'll go right into the event. Awesome.
Correct. Okay. Yep. Exactly. So, but what you're also raising is the idea that can you double up a Zoom area to be a tech check and a help desk, and you absolutely can do that. Because you're just pointing which area the tech check is going to. So the way that they're entering, so I'm in tech check here, and it's saying pick an area, pick a Zoom area. And I'm saying it's tech check, but I could easily say it's a help desk area. And on the dashboard, I can also have a direct link as a help desk. Say it was, so it was here, you can then just have that point directly. And so, and we've done that to great effect, having tech check go into help desk. And now they still do go through that process. And then you could decide if you wanted to turn off tech check or not.
Because when I was trying to press the button and I clicked it as to log in as an attendee, which was myself, it took me to the tech check, and since nobody was there, it said this area is not open yet. So then Lisa logged in on the other computer, she checked me in, but then when I kept doing it, it kept taking me to tech check again. So is there a way that once you're checked in, it knows you're checked in and it'll bypass that, right?
It always will do that on an attendee level. If we were to, so when tech check is enabled, an option in the attendees list shows, and I'm just enabling tech check on this event quickly. I really want to hide people's emails. So see this check in, right? So check in button. As soon as you hit check in, that will check them in, and it will bypass the tech check process, right? For that individual, for that individual attendee. And so you can do that at any time. But you raise a good point that when you have tech check on and no one in tech check, people can't get through. They can't get to the dashboard, right? And so you just have to consider that. And often that's fine. And you can say tech check is available between these hours. Come back then. So, and tech check, that sneeze is coming.
Bless you.
Thank you. So there was another one. So tech check is not a great term for it now, like everyone knows what it means. But the idea now, kind of 4 years on from COVID and everyone installing Zoom on their machines and know what's going on, it's less of a deal. When we first started, it was a big deal. And it was really important that we knew that everyone knew the basics of Zoom. And it was so effective for us to be able to say, hey, I can see and hear you. If you can see and hear me, then we're 95% the way there. Just put something in the chat for me. Bang, great. You know where the chat is, and then we're confident now that we don't have to do any teaching about how to do things in Zoom when we do our event. And we're also confident that when we push you into breakout rooms, that your group is not going to spend 10 minutes trying to troubleshoot your problem and not do the task that we've set. And so that was the reason, right? Now, there's still value in that.
Yeah.
There's still a little bit of value in that.
Yeah, the registration, it duplicates the real event feel. All right, so
100%.
Our event's tomorrow, so that's why I had all of these. And the last question I have is, on the dashboard, you have the emojis. So when they click on that, do those show up? And is that the only way to fire those? Because you have to have two screens to be able to be watching the event and click on those.
Correct. Yeah, so there's two things. There's the attendee side is that, yes, they are clicking on the buttons on the dashboard for those emojis to fire. The second side is the production side, which is how are you displaying them where and on what. So from a production point of view, where on larger events, we often have screens behind, the LED walls, things like that. And we're taking the web page with the emojis on it, and we're often sort of either chroma keying, luminance keying that over the top of in a big production setup. So we're we're keying that over the top of something else, and that goes into the production setup. For smaller events, we also have that ability to upload a background for those emojis, and so the easiest way is that you might have your event logo, and you have a TV in set with you. There's a TV behind you. And you have the logo on there, and then you have the emojis flying up over that. And that's simply a laptop, a computer that has that page open, and now those emojis are working. And so that's an easy way to do it. But there's multiple ways to kind of handle emojis. So, so Onric is showing that off now.
Emojing it.
Right.
Thank you so very much for your time. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. No worries. Yeah, no. And all the best for tomorrow. I really love the fact you're talking about using TechCheck for registration. It absolutely, and you wouldn't have heard this story. It's the way that Blue and I met is, we met outside, but I said to him, "Hey, I'm in Australia. Do you want me to run TechCheck for you overnight?" And he said, "Yes. What are you doing Tuesday?" And so I ran TechCheck for him. Heather taught me how to do it. And then we started doing TechCheck overnight. And so people at 2 a.m. New York, they're like jumping in, clicking a link, and suddenly they're in Zoom, and they're like, "Who's this, energetic redhead who's talking to me?" I'm like, "What's going on here?" But that experience was just like, whoa, like 2 o'clock in the morning, I'm talking to someone and I'm having this great event experience and this human interaction from what we thought was going to be anti-human, this whole online event, and suddenly was very intimate and quiet and connected. And in the process, I said, "Hey, what if we did this, 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 and this, and this?" And Blue's like, "All right, let's do it." And so we took that simple little WordPress site and started building this, and that's how we're here 4 years later.
Great.
That's the quick story.
So much. And Heather, thank you so much for your help as well.
No worries.
The show's like, I told you I've got an event tomorrow. I don't need to hear your whole life story. Let's just get on with this.
No,
all right, next.
Great. I appreciate it. Yeah, thank you.
That's good. You're welcome. All right, next question.
Can I just point out about the timers? So
it's top priority, Sarah. We were all on the edge of our seats wanting to know what was going on with Countdown. Please give us an update.
Okay. Well, so I tested it in another dashboard and it did the same thing. It wouldn't move up. But also, if I re-added it, then it's saved on the bottom.
Yeah, right. That's what I think Muddy said, or Amy said that maybe. Someone said it. Someone said it would come to the bottom.
You still need to fix it because it's still like
okay.
It's still going.
I understand.
Move.
I understand, Sarah, and I get the pressure. I get the pressure that you're laying on me. I'll get straight onto it. I have put it as a bug, and we will get that fixed. So thank you. Look at that. You've given us more detail about it. Appreciate it. Okay, next question.
Linda said, "Can you take control of my computer and make sure my event is set up correctly and working properly for my event tomorrow?"
You want me to take control of your computer tomorrow and just run your event, or was it? is that what you're saying? Yeah, that'd be great. You want to? Do you want to screen share and show, or you want me to have a look at your event? What on my computer? What's better?
Either or.
I can have a look at it here if you like. What's the event called?
Pure Fibro Solutions.
Pure Fibro Solutions. Gotcha. Mad with Fibro. Wow.
It's an acronym for making a difference.
Nice. All right. So you've got it tomorrow. Is that what you said?
Yep.
It is tomorrow. Yep.
I've been having several issues similar to Sarah's. I add stuff and when I go back, it's gone. So I add it again and then I come back
Yes.
and there's two of
I have tracked some of your problems, and yeah, you know, it's tricky diagnosing sometimes, because there can be a few different things happening at once, and there's layers of things that are happening, and one thing can interact with the other. But I'm sorry for the frustration you've had, because that's not at all what we want for our users.
Well, I
What
did
I'm
my
seeing
big
here.
cry before I got on camera, so nobody else would have to see that.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can get your confidence back. And because that's often what happens, right? Is that we just start losing confidence that things are broken, things are just not working. And that's when it's hard, when it snowballs and you just feel like everything I'm touching is breaking and I just don't know, what's going on. So when we can break that snowball apart and start looking at a couple of the things, we'll start to say, okay, yeah, things are working. And my confidence in that is that there is multiple events that are running right now. I think we've got about 8 events that are running at the moment, and they're all working fine. And so I know that we'll find some little things that might be there, and then we'll hopefully set you on your way with confidence. So,
Thank you.
Sure. So the first thing is that your date range is cool. You've got plenty of. How long is your event?
An hour.
Okay. Awesome.
It's a webinar.
Okay. Great. So you've got your date range there, which means Zoom is going to open fine, and that's all good. Let's have a look at the dashboard. Nice. All right. So you're really you're just keeping it really basic, right? You just want to get people into the dashboard.
Yeah, it's totally bare bones. I just need something on there and them to be able to get into the event. But I did a test on the welcome email and to someone, because I entered all the attendees manually, so their names and emails are in there, but I did a test to one gal that's in my ACE pod that's helping me with it. And it keeps coming up a different name in the welcome email.
Yeah. So that's intended. So the thing with that is that we can look at that now. I'll go to okay. So you're doing a welcome email
Yep.
as a test. Okay. So the test email is not tied to any attendee. So if you happen to choose an email of an attendee, that has no correlation to their attendee record. Okay, so the test email, what it's doing is you can put any email address in it, and it will send dummy data, like just test data, and it's going to put in a random name, and it's going to use even a random email address in the body, and any of the data fields, it's going to just use random text.
Okay.
So if
I just wanted to make sure, sorry.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure because I knew there was something with the brackets and the name and the brackets again, that you couldn't copy it. You had to put it in manually, which I did.
Right.
And then it started working. So I was freaking out a little bit.
All right. So there's a few things here. The welcome email will only fire when the attendee has been added. So if you already have all of your attendees in, then the welcome email is not the thing to use. It only works for kind of those ad hoc last minute changes. That's what the welcome email is for, is that you've just added them as an attendee, and now the welcome email sends automatically. If what we're trying to do is just send the login link to everybody, then you'll use a broadcast and you'll schedule that and you'll say exactly what you want that to be. So we can say it's the first email. We're going to set when that is. I'll let you do that. And then we're going to send it to all people. We're going to pick the email address that we want it to come from, which is the only one there. And then this could be whatever you want this to be. It's a subject, right? Your event dashboard link. Okay. And then in here, we're going to say, dear first name.
Robin. Yeah.
Here is, however you want to say this. Welcome. It starts at this time, whatever. Right.
Okay. So that's for the generic or general link. That's not for individual emails.
This is for individual emails.
Oh, okay.
Right. So, and in fact, we can do that as a link. We can say, go like that. So here is your dashboard link. There it is. If we wanted to, we could also make that a button.
Oh.
Okay. And so, and you can call this whatever you want, you know, and then we're going to make that link the login URL, and that's the unique URL for each person. And so what this is telling me is that there are 5 people, 5 attendees that will receive this. So there's currently it's set to all of your attendees. I want to send them all a link that is their unique login, and I'm going to send it at this time.
Okay.
And that's in the that is in the time zone that you set for the event. Is what that time is.
Okay. And
so then the key thing with this is that we say we change it to publish, that it's going to go.
Okay.
And then we save it. So I'm going to just keep that in draft, just so we don't send anything, but I'm going to keep it there for you. You can go and edit that. And so and then you can just update it, make it however you want. And if you want to schedule a few of them, you know, if you wanted to send one 2 hours out and then 10 minutes out, you know, like you could do that. You could have multiples that send.
Thank you.
So that's how you would handle for the people that you have already entered.
Okay.
If you had someone sign up absolute last minute, then you could keep this on, and when they signed up, you just quickly added them, then they would get this email quickly without you having to schedule an email for them. So that's how that would work.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
So that test email, it's always just showing dummy data. It's not based on attendee data. So that's why you're getting all of that looking wacky. I'll just fix this while we're here, because it's if you want to be first name, or if you want it to be, you know, first and last name.
No, just first name is good.
First name's fine. Yeah. You just might want to see that text color that you have. It hasn't.
Yeah, I'm not sure why the background is showing up black, because I saved it and it was white. But I've been having some issues.
On mine, it's just dark mode. On my
okay.
computer, I think is why that is. Oops, I did it again. I always do that. Did the background instead of that. There you go. So you could double check all of that.
Thank you.
I'll just say that for you. Okay. So now we've got some attendees in. We're going to update that email to make sure that they get their link in time. And so we've got that set. Now we're thinking about what happens when they come for the first time to the site. So we're not doing password, which is great. Not doing a waiver step, which is great. We're not doing a tech check. So that's cool. So that means that when someone clicks the link, it's going to go straight to that dashboard. Now, something that I noticed is that we haven't chosen the main stage area. So so you've created one room there. Now, would this would just you only need one Zoom meeting, correct?
Correct.
Yeah. So I would call this main stage.
Oh, okay.
So that it just keeps it really clear, right?
Okay.
So this is an area. It has one Zoom room in it, one Zoom meeting, and this is where you would come to start it.
To open it and start it.
Correct. Yeah. So you'd open here, start, remembering that your area is closed, which means attendees can't join. So you could go, and I recommend this, 2 hours early. Come in, open this, get settled.
What is going on?
Oh, Amy, you're unmuted. But now I'm worried about you. Are you okay? Was it the weather, did you say?
I'm right. We have some thunderstorms going on.
Okay. Well, since you were unmuted and you didn't realize, I'm glad that it was the weather that you were concerned about and not anything other personal matters that you may have shared with everyone. All right. So so just remember, so you come in 2 hours early, get settled, make sure everything's all working, you're all happy, knowing that attendees can't join until you toggle that open area. Once that's clicked, once that's toggled, then when people click the main stage button on the dashboard, they will come straight into Zoom. So it's a nicer waiting room is what we think of it as. It
just shows that it's offline.
Yes, what it shows here, it'll simply just say that this room is offline. But if you want to customize it, you can here, and you can say this room will open it at X time. Come back then or whatever it is. So you can do that. The chances are that you don't have a lot of people that are becoming 2 hours early. Often we're struggling to get people to come on time, let alone them coming early. But if you want to, you can have that little offline text in there. So that's all.
I thought I did. I mean, I actually did. I think Robin helped me with that, but I don't think it's there.
Okay, we can check somewhere else for that. That you might have got. So okay, we're good now that we've got this area set up. So now we can go back to the dashboard and just double check that our join main stage button is doing what it should do. It says join area, but we just need to pick the area. And so now it's going to go to the main stage.
Thank you.
So it's a good thing we caught that. So that's good. That now means that people are going to get in okay. What's your thinking here? Registration.
That is for at the end of the webinar for them to sign up for the challenge next week. That's for them to register. But I couldn't, when I clicked on it, I couldn't get it it didn't do anything. It went back to this.
Yeah, it's not currently doing anything. What do you want it to go to a registration page? What have you got something else for that or?
I don't. Robin helped me set it up, so I assumed that was in there already.
Okay, yeah. There's nothing necessarily there that's going to say that.
So I would need to create it.
Yeah. So you could have another form set up somewhere. You could do a form on here, which is kind of a registration form, a basic thing. So you could create a little form that then has just to put your name or I mean you already have their name their first name, last name, and email in the form response. And so you could just do a like a a checkbox or something, right? Like it could be a form.
Or would it be a link like from Zapier when they pay?
Okay, so have you got a sign up form with payment
Not yet,
or a
no.
payment process? Okay,
No, I was having issues getting my Obvio to work, so I
fair enough.
wasn't sure this was gonna happen. So that's
Fair
my
enough.
next thing to add is the Zapier and the Stripe account.
Yeah, okay. All right. So I mean what it sounds like is that with Obvio, we currently have no way of taking payment for registration or selling tickets. So you need to do that externally.
Oh, okay.
And however you choose to do that, and that could be a Stripe payment plan, a payment page, or there's a million options, right? Whatever that is, you would then set the URL,
Okay.
the address of wherever that is that you want them to sign up.
Okay.
You would put that there, and now when they click that, it will take them straight off to that page, and they can sign up.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Yep. And then you've put some speaker information in.
Well, I tried a few times.
Okay.
Yeah, the picture and my name stays in there, but the content, the text keeps getting deleted. And I did it like at 1:30 in the morning 3 times because it kept getting deleted. And I came back the next day and it was gone and I can't remember what I put in there. So I have to do it. So I just did one line just to see if it would stay there. And so far it has.
Yeah. Yeah. So one of the developers was sort of looking into it and looking at some logs and things on this. And it it, it seems like, is it possible that you may have had the page open multiple times, perhaps in different browsers or things like that? Is that possible?
I had a bunch of different browsers up, but
Yep.
I did have Obvio open in 2 places, this with my dashboard and everything, and another one with a video of you going through Obvio on YouTube.
Okay. That's your problem. You were listening to me. That's been the issue. So
Making me laugh.
so let's just see the issue you're having. As soon as you add a text in here, you're saying that it would delete. Is that right?
Yeah, it
Or it would
just
just disappear.
it disappears. Yeah, I would actually go back into like my dashboard to make sure that was working, and then an extra button would be there or a button would be missing. So then I would
Right.
flip back to the speaker page to see if that was there, and it was still there for about 2 hours. And then when I went back later, it was gone.
And the internet that you're using is what you're using right now. All
Yep.
of that's the same. Yeah.
Yep.
And the computer, all of that's the same.
Same.
So
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah. So I've just done a test. I've just refreshed. All of that's working. We haven't had people saying that there's been problems with the speaker page. I know that we've got events going on that are working, and that's that's not all just to point the finger at you, but it's to try to, as we troubleshoot,
Right.
we start to eliminate things, and so that's what I'm testing. It seems to be working okay. So then we start coming down to the computer, and we start exploring different things. And this would be the thing that ideally another device to test and to rule out that it's not anything on the service of Ovio itself, but something about the computer that's doing something wacky.
Okay.
Whether that's some sort of firewall, a block, some sort of blocking thing, something that's stopping something from launching, some what are they called, add-ons or extensions in the browser that's trying to stop something from loading. Because I think you were also having trouble with seeing this live chat button too, right?
I can't get that, and I did go into my browser and check, and there's no ad blocks on it, so I'm not sure what the issue is.
And so once again, and what we need to be careful with how you're feeling too is to not get distracted trying to troubleshoot a problem when clearly there's just something funky going on with your computer. Because as you can see, I've just done this and I've got the chat. The chat's been working great with Heather, with lots of people. We know that that's working. The fact that the chat is not showing up on your computer tells me that something is blocking along the way somewhere. And the same reason that the chat's not showing up is highly likely the same reason that the things that when you're trying to save is not saving correctly. Because when we do a save like this, it's pushing an update out, and it's telling any other users that might be on that same page there's just been an update and pushing those updates out. And so I think the reason that this is not showing is the same reason that's not working there. And because your event is tomorrow, you just want to think about, all right, what is my strategy right now just to get this event across the line, and then troubleshooting some of those computer problems or whatever. Is there another computer you can borrow or beg or steal from someone that that is going to work? It's those sorts of things. What can you do? Or on this event, is it okay just to turn speaker page off and just move on from speakers for on this particular
absolutely. Yeah
right that type
that crossed my mind too. Bare bones, as long as they can get in and listen to the webinar is my main goal right now.
Fair enough. Yeah, and that's good. And it's good to focus because we get this a lot when we're on these calls. We talk about, here's the 55 things that I want to do for this event, and it's like, and obviously it becomes overwhelming.
Yeah.
So ideally what we say is, what is the minimal viable product? What's the minimum I need to do to get this event across the line? And then what's the one thing that would be great if I could get it across the line as an addition. And that just helps you focus, because really at the end of the day, those attendees that are going to come to your event are going to care about what you say and how you relate to them and how you teach. They're not going to care about what's on the speaker's page at that point. Right.
Right. Thank you.
And so it's really good to just be able to focus back to what is the thing that you can do. As nice as this all would be, taking the time right now, you're investing time into this that some people won't even see. Whereas, could you take that time to ground yourself and to put a bit more investment into how you're going to deliver the show, how you're going to deliver the event, right? Those sorts of things. And I know you didn't come to a technical Obvio Q&A to get coaching about how you're going to do your event, but I just want to encourage you that you've got this. It's gonna be okay. And by pulling back, one of the things I love about Apple is all the things they say no to. No, we're not going to have a feature for that. No, we're not going to have a button for that. No, we're not. We are going to keep it really simple. And so simple is clear. Simple is making it really easy for people to get in. And that also is not me excusing the troubles that you've had. And we want to get into that more and find out if there's something that Obvio is doing for your particular computer and setup and whatever versions and whatever, that we can fix on our end. So we want to explore that, but not a day before your event.
Right. Well, I have a Geek Squad I can bring it to after my event and see if they can check see if there's any extension or blockers or whatever on there.
Right.
That's causing issues. And I didn't know, I ran it on Chrome on my phone, but it's running in Safari on my computer. So I didn't know if that was an issue.
We tend to default to Chrome. But having said that, we do use Safari a lot. Whenever you sort of run into little things like that, it's good to jump across to Chrome and see if you're having the same experience. And so that's worth trying. Muddy?
I noticed, and this has been great troubleshooting, and I think the recording will be helpful for others that may be in a similar situation. I noticed when Linda was sharing her screen that there were 6 or 8 different tabs that say Obvio in them. And so it does make me wonder if possible there are multiple tabs of Obvio running currently. And they could be different events, could be different pages, but it is possible that the editor is currently open on multiple tabs. And one way to troubleshoot that would be to restart the computer and then just kind of open the browser and make sure, just to kind of verify that each of those tabs, because as Grant was saying, you hate, and I have experienced way back when this was before the pages auto updated, this was an issue. If you had 2 people editing the page, this would happen, and you put all these edits in and then they would disappear. The other thing I would say, and kind of universally for folks who are having this issue or experiencing things, one of the workarounds resulted to is writing the text separately, like in a Google Doc, and then just copying and pasting it in, so that if it disappears again, it's like, okay, copy and paste, not a big deal that I'm kind of putting my creative energy in and then it's gone, which I empathize with you because I know that can be frustrating. So just a couple thoughts.
Yeah, I was all excited that I got it done. Like I said, it was like 1:30 in the morning and I had been up since 4 in the morning that day. And I kept checking and it was saved. So I thought it was okay. And then I thought about it when I woke up, I'm like, I didn't save that to a document. And yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame that we need to do that, but there are other systems, Google Docs and things that are constantly saving, that are better for writing your content and getting all that out, and then copying and pasting in is a really good strategy. It's just a great way to, because then you can use it many times as well, over different things. So I just removed that speaker button, and now you've just simply got join main stage and then the registration button. So you need to update that registration button with whatever you plan for your sign up, and how you do that, the registration payment page and things that you'll set up somewhere else. You'll get the link for that, and now you'll send people off to that.
I have one quick question for you. The screen that you were just showing with my information and stuff on it, all those tabs that said Obvio, was that on your computer?
Oh, yeah. That's me. Yeah, that's me. I was going to say that, Muddy. It's my screen, not Linda's.
Okay.
So
I was going to say, because I still only show 2 Obvios open on mine.
You're fine. All of the ones that I had open are other events and things, so it was unrelated. Yeah.
Thank you, Grant. I really appreciate it.
Yes, of course. So all the best with your event. I'm sure it's going to be great. Things are looking fine there now. And so a couple of tweaks there, and I can't stress enough with everyone. If we were to think about what was the thing after our event, if we think what could I have done better, I mean, top of the list for everyone is preparation. It's like I just wish that I did more earlier, and that I wasn't running right up to the line crazy, just right to the moment the event started. I was doing a bunch of last minute changes and checking this and checking that, and so I really encourage you. You've got an opportunity before it starts tomorrow now that you say, here's the bare minimum for the site that's working, get my payment page sorted, that's working, and then It's like getting good rest, right? And then just being really, kind of prepared and just zoned in to, it doesn't matter whether you had 5 or 500 people there. At the end of the day, you're going to be talking to one person at a time. You just happen to be talking to multiples, right? But you are connecting from one human to another, and you're able just to do that. And I hope that for you, you're able just to focus on what the thing is that you are most passionate about. And building speakers pages and registration pages and stuff is not what you are most passionate about.
No.
But once you start getting on to, once you refocus and you get yourself back on that line of this is what I'm about, then people will connect to that and they'll follow you as far as you'll take them. More so than a tricked out website will do.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Linda sent me an email through the system and with my magic link in it for this event, and it didn't work.
If you only just joined, Robin.
I did. I'm sorry. Did you cover that already?
Yeah.
We already covered it.
Never mind.
When you send when you send a test, that's awesome. That's great. So when you send a test email from the welcome or from the broadcast, it puts dummy data in. It's dummy data for the any of the merge fields that go in: first name, last name, email, and login URL. The login URL is just a random thing that will go nowhere, because what the test is for is just to be able to test the layout of your content. It's not testing the whole process. If you want to test the whole process of getting an attendee into the event, then set up a broadcast, schedule the broadcast, and send it to just a tag like test user or something like that, a tag that you've put to your attendees. And we do this often. We'll have a tag called staff or team, and we send our tests to our team to make sure that that's all working. And the test is an actual scheduled broadcast that goes out at a particular time. It'll send the login URL and away it goes. If you're just clicking test and happen to put in Robin's email address, it's not then going and looking at the attendee data and trying to send you that same thing. It's just putting in some dummy test data so that you can see the layout of how that email works. So that's why. I don't feel like you're convinced, Robin. Are you convinced?
Well, when she sent me one before, and it actually took me to the dashboard, but the one that she sent me today didn't work. It was a different link. It looked different, but it's okay. I'm late.
Well, that's what Linda said before, is that it was hitting the test button and the name was incorrect, and that's the dead giveaway, right? So
yeah, that link actually worked. When she sent me the one that had the wrong name on it, the link took me into the dashboard, but the one today was no name. But I was trying to get in, and it kept sending me to a tech check page for Obvio, and I couldn't. So sorry.
Oh, good. Yeah, cool. The fact that I'm explaining it like this, I think we do actually need to tidy up having a good test. And I think whether Muddy's still listening, but we've spoken about this too, that what we need is to be able to just trigger off one email for someone. And sometimes you just want to do that. You just, whether it's for a test or whether it's because they're like, oh, could you just send me my link again? At the moment, yeah, Muddy's excited. It's just like, you just want to be able to go, they say, oh, can you just send me that again? Just go bang, send the email, So I'm making a note of that again. Cool. All right. Still got some more questions, Heather?
Yeah, we do. So David said that he has a question about video content available for post-production editing.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Grant, my question basically is about the feeds that Obvio is recording in the back end that will then be available. I'm specifically interested in the scenario of an interview where I'm having a conversation with someone and I want to be able to, in post-production, maybe, focus on that speaker. So my question is, what's getting recorded, or how do I need to spotlight the interlocutor, or do I need to do something particular in Zoom so that I've got, like I'm speaking now, let's say I was speaking to you, so that I've got, and right now I'm looking at the panel of all the participants on this call. So the speaker view and then the interlocutor, are those recorded as separate files, or does it depend on the person actively speaking? What determines what files are available in the archive of files for each call?
Okay. Yep. So first of all, I would say wherever you can record locally, so you're going to get a better recording if you can record locally. To answer the question about what do we get in the Zoom cloud recording, we will always get an active speaker. So if you don't have spotlighting happening at all, and you've just got it as it is for us right now, then we will have whoever's speaking a full screen video available. We get that. We also get a gallery view the whole time. So whoever's in the gallery view, we get that the whole time. We then also get screen share. So whenever screen share happens, we get that as a full recording the whole time. We then also get a combination of those, right? Where you can have active speaker with screen share. And then when screen share happens, it goes to a little box in the top. We also get gallery view in the same way with screen share and gallery view. So you get that. Now, when you spotlight, it takes over the active speaker. And so now it overrides active speaker. And if you spotlight someone, that's what you will see in the active speaker download that whole time.
So, for example, if I were doing an interview with someone and my asking them the questions isn't the relevant content for the product that will result from that interview, I just want them, their face, their responses, etc. I'm not relevant to that content. Can I assign them as
spotlight? Just spotlight them. Yeah.
Spotlight. And so what I'll get a file that will include maybe me on gallery or something of that nature.
That's right.
But the primary screen will be them. Okay. The second question is does utilization of an
can I just add one thing, David, and that is that Spotlight is not available until you have sort of 3 or 4 people in the Zoom meeting. So if you only had 2 people in the Zoom meeting, Spotlight won't be available, and then you'll be scratching your head. You'll be pulling all your hair out. So
that'll be a difficult task for me.
Exactly. So if you want to spotlight, you'll need to add another person and another attendee in there, another device for Spotlight to become available. So because for Zoom, if you only have 2 people, essentially they're already spotlit.
Okay.
Your full screen on their screen and their full screen on your screen. So what is Spotlight for? Right? So as soon as you go to 3 or 4, now Spotlight becomes important. And so I say all of that because you'll be like, where is Spotlight? It's not available.
Okay, then if it was a scenario of just a one-to-one interview, just a Zoom call, I'm on a Zoom call with another person, is what I'm going to get in that video archive then, a gallery view of the two of them and a spotlight of
side by
me.
side.
And
No
that's
spotlight of you. If it's just two of you in there, you're going to get active speaker as it goes between the two of you, and you'll get gallery view as a side by side, two up shot.
Okay.
And I've done recordings like that successfully where I didn't ever really need to go to me full screen, but I did go to the gallery view where you saw me and the other person, and then I went full screen to the other person. So you can sort of edit that together.
Okay, and then a corollary question to this. If I'm inviting someone using Calendly to a video interview, Calendly has the option for a Zoom link embedded in the invite, et cetera, et cetera. Do I need a Zap to utilize an Obvio link for that interview rather than the Zoom link?
No, you don't need a Zap for that, as in you can just preset in Calendly the address, which is it'll just be the same address every time. The integration with Zoom and Calendly is specifically when you want to generate a unique meeting each time for that person. Whereas if you're using Obvio, then you can just have the same link that goes out with every Calendly link. Right. And so you just lock in that address, and that's the address every time.
Okay, so I have my own Zoom account. So when I am just using Zoom, right, it's providing the Zoom link that's generated through my Zoom account. How do I get that all to function with Obvio?
What is it?
Obvio, right? Zoom is included. It's integrated with Obvio. So if I want that to be an Obvio, or does Zoom provide all of the archived content that you described on its own? If I just have my own Zoom account, can I go in there and get this roster of recordings?
It depends on your account, and it depends on. I mean, the thing that in your account, you're not going to have HD video, which we have on ours, and you're not going to have unlimited cloud recording, and that's what we have. So there is an advantage to using Obvio for that.
And how do I do that?
So just set up an Obvio event, just a straightforward event, and in fact, you could use the registration link within the room and put that in. You know what I'm talking about there? When you go into the Zoom area and then down to the Zoom room, you can turn on the registration link, which I really want to change that term because it is pretty confusing to be calling it registration. It's kind of a stage, like a stage door access in a way is what we think of it as, but I'll show you that here. So if I'm looking at a particular Zoom area, I can then go down into the room and turn on registration enable and use that link. And what that will do, if I look at what that link is, that's going to take them to a branded page where they enter the first name, last name, email, and join room, and it'll take them straight to Zoom. So they're bypassing the dashboard. So you can use that exact link for every one of those Calendly appointments. Use that same one, and now they come into that.
Okay, so this is a generic link to my Obvio account, or is it a link? I'm not sure of the terminology here, so I'm not sure how to frame the question.
You're fine. So you would create an event, create a new event, and then create the Zoom area, and that will create this room, and then you'll get this link, and that's what you'll use. So it's a unique event and a unique area, and this is where you would then come to join it, as in you would open it and start it. And then when people come through that link, they'll join that Zoom meeting, and away it goes.
Okay, so then how do I get Calendly to send this link versus what Calendly currently does, which is send a generic Zoom link for that Zoom
Well,
meeting?
it's not generic. That's the point. So what Zoom is, what Calendly is doing is talking to Zoom, generating a new meeting, and then getting that unique link back. What you're going to do in Calendly is just say, this is the link for all meetings using this, and it's just a fixed link. You're going now?
Okay, and then when that fixed link has that login page, they enter their name and email address. And that activates Zoom in order to record that event. That
it will.
In this case, the event is an interview, let's say. And then, but the.
Sorry, just one second. Just one second.
Is this question relevant for other folks? Because I could take it offline. Okay.
All right. Yeah. So I think what we've narrowed down to is a Calendly thing, and not an Obvio thing. And so I think you'll find the answers in Calendly to be able to just always send to the same address and not. Jeff, have you done this? Have you used Calendly or?
Yeah, I use Calendly. The difference, David, and I was going to message you privately to share this.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Similar use case, but I have the dashboard for me is something I want my meeting attendees to see. And the reason why is the resources we're going to discuss on the call. I want them to have access to that during the call so they could look through the PDF and such with me. But I also want them to be able to go back to the dashboard after the call and be able to refer to the same resources. Typically, I send a follow-up email that includes the magic link and it sends them right back to the dashboard, right? So they can use that following our meeting. And
that's exactly the kind of features and framework that I'm wanting to create. So excellent.
Yeah, the secret you'll want to do is, of course, if they go back to the dashboard after the meeting, they're going to see a join meeting button, and there's a chance you're in another meeting with a different client. You don't want them to rejoin. So what I do is I use the sign up link, and that's what I send them. So they're actually registering for the event, right, or the meeting. And then as soon as I'm done with the meeting, I go to attendees and I delete that tag, right, called join meeting or whatever. So then what happens is when they use their magic link, they could see all the resources from the call, but the option to join the meeting is gone. They can't get back in. And so that allows me to use that, with multiple clients a day. And I don't have people, joining the meeting because they're, curious if the button still works.
Got it. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Thank you, Grant.
You're welcome. And I would, I'd encourage you, David, to go back over this recording and listen to all of that again of what Jeff just said, because there is some gold in there. Because I knew that Jeff was doing some really cool stuff. A couple of those tips are very, very smart. So, and you're looking sharp today too, Jeff. Looking good. And recent haircut.
Actually, no, I need one. It's just I didn't spike it as high.
Gotcha.
I'm using my phone camera because I'm working on other projects at my desk, not in the studio today.
Yeah, it looks good. It looks good. It is surprising how well that works, isn't it?
From one ginge to the other, I appreciate
one
it.
ginge to another. Mm-hmm. All right. We're going to have to start going speed round to be able to finish in 15 minutes, which I need to. So, all right, Heather.
So Sarah wants to know if there's a shortcut to adding attendees.
Yeah. I mean, I guess there's the different ways that you can do it is you can manually enter it, and that's not short, right? So you're typing it into Obvio, but then of course you can do a CSV import, and so a spreadsheet import, and all you're going to do there is the spreadsheet will simply be first name is in first column, last name, email column 3, and then tags if you are doing any tagging of the people. But if you, the bare minimum you need is first name, last name, and email. 3 columns in an Excel document or Google Sheets or whatever, and you export that as CSV file and import that. And you'll see the import function when you go to attendees, and then up the top there's attendee tools. Is that what it's called? It's a button there. You'll see it, and there'll be an import, and you can import it that way. So that's that way. And then there's integrations, right? So now you look at services, and you can connect all these other ones we've been talking about, sort of high level and Keep and MailChimp, and you'll see all these different ones that you can use. You can also use Zapier. And Zapier could take registration data from some other system and push it into Obvio. So there's lots of ways of sort of automating the process of getting attendees in. But I think the most obvious shortcut to getting attendees in is a CSV import. Comma separated file is what that's about.
Okay.
Comma separated values. Yeah. Great. Next.
Diana, she said she tried to start her Obvio Zoom room last night. When she went into the Zoom areas, opened the area in the rooms, but could not get in. She's wondering if it has to be because she's using an email address associated with her Obvio account to be the host. She used a secondary email. It seems that there's a place to assign others with the superpowers. Can you help point me to the right option?
Okay. So you didn't have the option to even open the room? Was that what that was? Who was this again? Sorry, Diana. Yep.
Me, and yeah, I clicked the one open and then the start button.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I tried to get into the room, it was just the host, waiting for host to join.
Yeah,
so I
okay.
didn't know if I had come in on my secondary.
Maybe you'd come in as an attendee, and you perhaps trying to join that way. You only have, I can see in your organization, you've only got one team member that has which is the owner, which has all the rights. And so that would have been fine. So when you opened the room, there's then the button to say start room. And so open and then click start. When you click start, that will join you as the host. So it sounds like you might have then gone open room and then gone to the attendee view or something. But I would try this process again by clicking the start link, and see if that occasionally the sequence, not the sequence, but the length of time between clicking the buttons can affect it. And so I would just try that process again, and you should be fine. That exactly the way that we've just laid that out. Open room, click the start link, it launches Zoom. And you should be fine. All right.
I will try again. Thank you.
Great. No problems. And if it does something really wacky, then a screen recording of what's going on would be so helpful, because then we can identify exactly what's going awry.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Great.
Can you show that little place where to add superpowers to teammates?
I can do that. You don't have anyone there at the moment. So, and you don't have any roles set, but let me show you in your organization here. You've got one user. What happens is we can create a role. So say we call this admin, and now this is the granular options that you have to be able to give people, right? And so you can fill all these in. You're creating the role. You're deciding that, yep, I'm happy for them to be able to do everything. Or you're saying the particular one here, like start areas and start rooms. You could have that turned off for particular people.
Okay.
Right?
Feel free to save that, and I'll
yeah, that's fine. I have saved it. Yeah, you've got an admin.
Cool.
You've got an admin role, and then you can send an invite to a team member, and then it'll come in here. And once they've accepted the invite, you can set what role they have, and you can create as many roles as you like. That you could give them, granular control over what they are allowed to do.
Wonderful. Thank you.
All right, no problems. Next question.
The next one is from Jenny. She says, is there any data on clicks or views of emails or blog-like post broadcasts?
Not yet. It's something that we would really like to do, is to have some stats around, sort of open rate and click rate for broadcasts, so that you can see exactly how many people have got the email and those sorts of things. There's lots of that sort of data that we would like to build in, that we can start to see the story of what someone has done, and so that they followed. They got an email, they opened the link, they went into Zoom, they then, downloaded a PDF or whatever, and sort of see that as a log. That's a sort of an end game for us, which would mean by having that sort of data, we would also be able to aggregate that data and say that 50 people clicked the link from the email, and, that sort of thing. So it's not currently there. The most data that we have is when people first go to the dashboard. When you do an export of your attendees, you'll see the timestamp of when they first went to the dashboard. And then when you do exports of Zoom attendance, you'll see how many minutes they were in Zoom. And you can also get a log of that, which is telling you each instance of them, each Zoom session that they went into. So you can sort of see a little bit of a pattern there as well when you look at an individual. But yeah, not emails and not sort of blog post viewing or dashboard viewing yet. There's a little bit with the points system. The way that gamification works is that you can assign points to different actions and different buttons and viewing pages and things like that. But we don't log that as an individual instance, and I would like to do that, right? Because I think that will build the bigger story, so that we can tell, okay, they've downloaded this PDF, and then they went to the speakers page, and they went to the speakers booth, and then they came back and they went to the main stage again. So we can see a lot of value in that. But just so everyone remembers, we haven't specifically spoken about Marketplace because we tend to just beat up Blue about that, which I like. So Marketplace is really the next really big thing that we're just trying to get across the line. Marketplace is the ability to sell tickets through Obvio. Once we do that, then it kind of opens the gate a little bit more to some newer features that we're looking at. So yeah, you're welcome. All right. Next question.
Jeff wants to know, is the sign up link coming soon?
A bloody sign up link. The bloody sign up link.
Do you know what?
Save me.
Do you know what? I was just showing it earlier and thought again, why is this? We haven't got the sign up link there. I've just made a note of it again to follow up where that's at. And we're just talking about the sign up page. Sign up page is great. But just having a link that says what is the link to the sign up page, just so that it's really clear. It seems like such an obvious thing. So I'll get that looked at.
Just put an exclamation point and then like an urgent looking emoji next to that. If you would.
That's right. Yeah.
That'll be perfect.
Yeah. SOS. Nice.
Anrik wants to know, when the area is not yet open, offline text appears, will it auto refresh or go back to the dashboard?
It'll auto refresh, as in it will redirect to Zoom when you come online. Is that the question you're asking? If people sit on the offline page, will it go to Zoom eventually once you're online?
Yeah, remember there's two different offline pages, right? One is when your event is not online, and then the other one is if your Zoom area or your Zoom room is not online.
Correct.
And I always thought that it would, if somebody opened that and then they got the, room isn't open yet view, that it would automatically refresh once I open the area.
Yes, and it does. But what it's doing is it's polling for that, and so it's checking on a decreasing and a increasing length of time. What is that? Frequency.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens is it checks regularly to start with, and then the longer that it's sitting on that page, it takes a little bit longer before it checks again. And that's just because when we get thousands of people all sitting on that page and they're all checking, are you open yet? Are you open yet? Are you open yet? We had to manage that a little bit. But to answer the question, yes, it will. If they're sitting on the offline page, it will redirect them to Zoom the moment that you have opened it and it is checked. And so it's so you can even put that on that page, on the offline page. You could put text to that effect that says you can leave this page open, and it will Zoom will open when we're ready.
What I've started doing is actually putting a link back to the dashboard.
Right.
Because that has my timer on it, and it has a welcome video. I always have a 5-minute timer video with music and a countdown that I play before every event, and it's kind of like a nice way. Then people go, okay, here it comes. Yeah, so I redirect them back to the dashboard because I want them messing around with it. I want them downloading things. I want them earning points, so to say. Yeah.
It's good.
I would love by the time, anytime you have a moment to get like a little mini crash course on the points and the gamification thing. I would really love that, because it's one of the features I don't know how to use.
Fair enough. We do have a video of that.
Cool.
that Blue walked through.
Mm-hmm.
But while I'm getting the next question, I'll see if I can find it quickly. Heather?
The next question is also from Anrik. He has a 4K and 1080 cameras, 1 gigabyte internet connection, but when he looks at the Zoom stats, it's showing video as 256 by 144 at 12 FPS. Can you help me and elaborate what to do to get the max HD resolution on the Zoom recording?
So the key thing to remember is that people need to be requesting. Someone needs to request 1080, right? So someone on the meeting needs to be able to handle a 1080 feed and needs to be able to have you, the window of you needs to be larger than 720p.
Yeah.
So if everyone has you in gallery view, then no one's requesting HD and you're not pushing HD out.
But if you pin me right now, and I notice it does a difference whether you pin it onto screen 1 and screen 2. So when I pinned you, Grant, earlier on, as I'm doing now, to the first screen, it's bringing you in at 1920 by 1080 at 30 frames a second, right?
Yeah.
And you must have pinned me because now for the first time it's actually transmitting me at the same.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yep. Yep.
So during, I mean, obviously the Zoom cloud recording is happening at that level, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So during a meeting, I mean, I noticed she's gone now, and you know, somebody was in here with a really bad camera, right? So is that the lowest standard that we all then are transmitting at if somebody in your room has a World War II camera?
No. So the only difference that it makes is that when someone, so it looks like Muddy's coming from a mobile device, I think. Is that right, Muddy? Yep. So what happens is there is the Zoom meeting can only support one HD level. So it is either 720p or 1080p, right? And so if the mobile device can support 1080, and if everyone can support 1080, then they will either get, I think there's 2 or 3 steps in the ladder for SD, and then there's 1 step for HD. And so people that have bad cameras, bad connection, whatever, they'll get the lowest step on the ladder, and they'll get a low resolution, while someone will also get HD and can have HD working. If often most mobile devices do not support HD, 1080, and so they will only have 720. And the whole meeting will then be set to 720. So whenever we do large events, more times than not, it goes to 720. The 720 is the most it will go to, right? But when you have smaller meetings, and I think you were saying in this one, we're able to keep it 1080, which means that everyone on this meeting has a device that is able to handle 1080. So so it's all just the makeup of who's on and how that's working. But if you're not seeing that you're sending 1080, then you can often have another machine that's requesting it. Have you pinned full screen, and then you'll be 1080 all the time.
What I've actually done, you see the picture here behind me. So what I did, I set up a separate camera here, which was an old DSL camera that I have, and I connect that to another computer that's over here, and it just says like Zoom Room 3 or whatever, and I have that running as a co-host in my meeting, because that is my backup device. If all of this thing fails and the ATEM Mini blows up, I just walk over there, turn it on, microphone is already on, and I'm ready to, you know, basically. Really cool. So I think that is, if you're doing events, that is a really good thing to do, is just to have a backup computer up and running. In my first event, my golden retriever jumped up on the desk here and knocked the coffee over all of the laptops, and oh God, it was a disaster. Wow. It really was. And Grant, one more quick question. I'm just looking at one of my screens here for an event, and I don't want to show it because this is a live event with attendees. That big blue check-in button, which is a manual button, right? That one. Yeah, I mean.
Yes.
What is that for? Is that just to get people past the need for the tech check?
Yes, it's just tech check. The fact that that button is showing means that you've got tech check enabled.
Yeah.
If you disable the tech check, then that button goes away.
Yeah, because I've actually got. I'm going with that example of doing the form on the waiver. You see that? So
yes.
Let me just.
So waiver is separate to tech check.
Yeah. No, I've got the tech check. Tech check is on. Hang on. Tech check is on. I've got no rules enabled on the whole thing. Well, that's really kind of slow. Yeah, I mean. So I've got the whole thing in there. Default button. Complete my check-in. I have a link to the calendar event down the bottom of that, so that people can put the tech check into their calendars. But on the waiver, I put the form, because I'm using this form to classify my audience on their attendee labels, because I want to see who they are. And if they ask a question and they're a marketer or they're a, an asset manager, I can frame it in that way. But I've never tried that before, so I'll let you know how it goes. No, really love all the Obvio stuff that's coming through. It's super nice. Thank you.
Awesome. You're welcome.
Super excited about the certificate thing. Is that still coming?
Yeah. Did you catch that last week? We spoke all about that.
Yeah, that putting glue on the spot. I like that. It's normally my job, but when you do it, it's better.
Right. So I've got to take my kids to school. I just wanted to check, Heather, of the few questions that we have left, is there any emergency-based ones that are like affecting a event in the next little bit? No. Okay, so I have been wanting to do another time slot, and so I'll put something out on Facebook for next week, and I'll just do another random, well, not random, but I'll do another time slot because it feels like we've got lots of questions, and we did go a bit longer on a couple, but hopefully that was helpful for more than just the people that we went longer with. And so I will, if you look at the Facebook group, I'll give you some notice about when we're going to do that, and I'll just slot in another one. And we can answer these questions that are still sitting there. We can answer those on that, and I'll live stream it as well, and you can catch the recording and all of that. So, all right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Heather. And we'll see you on that time as well as next Wednesday. All right. Bye-bye.